morning, everyone. My name is Jessica. I am the Health Fitness Program Manager in McLean, and I'm here today to guide you through a beautiful morning yoga practice. We're going to get started in 1 minute. We're going to start in Savasana. So if you'd like to make your way onto your backs, I know it's early and I'm already inviting you to lay yourself down. Feel free to grab a sip of water or coffee or tea or whatever it is you're enjoying this morning. And then let's lay down on our mats or the floors where we just intend to practice today. Ooh, maybe you just got out of bed, or maybe you've been sitting at the computer for a couple hours already. Take this time to really tune into your breath and to clear your mind. If you're joining me fresh here in the early morning, it's quite likely that you might have a long list of things that you need to do. And I feel very confident that you will find time to do most, if not all, of those things today. But right now, appreciate this time that you created for yourself, for your yoga practice, for your physical and mental health. And let's just do our best to be as in tune with our breath, allowing our breath to dictate the movements that we can create with our body for these next 30 minutes together. Take a little scan of your body from your head to your toe and just notice how you're feeling today. Do you have any points of tension or uncomfort? Maybe you're feeling really open and flexible. Maybe you're just feeling a little sore from one of the other amazing workouts that you attended earlier this week. Just take this time to tune into how your body feels now, so you have an opportunity to see how it feels a little bit later. Come back to your beautiful slow breath. Can you inhale in through your nose and bring your breath all the way down to the bottom of your diaphragm? And then enjoy a slow exhale, even slower and longer than your inhale, either out your nose or your mouth, if that feels more comfortable for you today. Just a couple more breaths here in our stillness to really relax as much of the back of your head, your neck, your shoulders, releasing your glutes, your ankles, your backs of your hands on the floor. What a great stillness to start with. Take a little wiggle of your fingers, of your toes, and then gently start to walk your heels in. You might even need to ground your feet with the floor, press into them, lift your glutes up to reposition your back to be relaxed on the mat. All right, from here, we're going to do a little thread the needle. So go ahead, keep your left foot down on the floor and inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling. As it stretches up there, you can make some circles with your ankle in one direction, in the opposite direction. Maybe you even feel a little bit of cramping in your legs, especially if your home is pretty dry. You might be a little dehydrated this morning. Let's take our right leg, cross it over the left, and use your exhale to stretch your right knee away from you. Depending on how tight your body's feeling today, you might want to hang out right here, keeping that left foot down on the floor. Or you might want to use your next breath to inhale, lift that left leg up off of the floor, create a much deeper stretch through the right hip, through the right hamstring. Perhaps you even want to interlace your fingers behind the back of the left leg. No pressure if it feels far away. Just going to let gravity do the work here for 2 more breaths. And on your next exhale, release your left foot back down towards the floor. Reground your lower back, gently pull your belly in. Inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Make some circles once again in each direction. And then slowly lower that right foot down to the floor. As you ground your right foot, inhale your left foot up towards the ceiling. Start by making some circles with that left foot in one direction, in the opposite direction. Maybe you hear some crunching or some cracking of the joints in your ankle. Totally normal. Go ahead, cross that left leg over your right and use your exhale to stretch the outside of your knee towards the end of the mat. Once again, you're welcome to just hang out here, maybe even using your hand to help apply a little bit of pressure to focus more on the opening of your hip. If you want to bring the stretch more towards the outside, the back of your leg, use your inhale to lift your right leg up off of the floor. Keep that lower back in contact with the mat though. So some real grounding through the pelvic floor. Keeping that lower belly engaged. It's going to help our backs to feel great as well. Maybe you even just place your hand on top of your right knee for a little bit of support. Let's do one more big breath here. So we'll use the exhale to release the right foot back down to the floor. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Once again, make some circles with your ankle in one direction. Change the direction of those circles and release your left foot to the floor. Take a moment, both feet ground with your mat and just windshield wipe your legs. You might even want to stretch through one knee at a time towards the end of your mat. I like to stretch with the inside leg that's a little bit more lifted, starting to bring a little bit of a gentle stretch into the quads, into the tops of your thighs, even starting to bring a little bit of a stretch as you roll towards your hips into your spine. Pick whichever side feels most natural to you. We're going to roll over to that side. Take a moment in the fetal position. Back to your beautiful slow breath. And then let's press ourselves up. We're going to come into tabletop. As you come into tabletop, bring your hands, palms underneath of your shoulders, and stack your hips on top of your knees. You can open your fingers really wide like a starfish. And if your wrists are feeling sore, think about just alternating where you're putting the weight, because we're going to do a little bit of cat-cow, but I want you to find what feels good for you today. So maybe you send your hips a little closer towards your heels and you just work on getting a little bit of warm up in your wrists, just moving the body back and forth, maybe adding a little side to side. Find what feels good for you today. You can go with traditional cat-cow of tucking your chin towards your chest and looking towards your knees or your belly button. And then as you change your breath, bringing that chest forward towards your forearms or your biceps and looking up towards the ceiling, or making some circles. Just use this time to explore what feels best for your body. Think about giving yourself some gentle circles with your neck. Maybe twisting your head side to side, just a gentle shake, no. A little shake, yes. If you are feeling a lot of discomfort in your wrists, I know my wrists have been very tired lately. Experiment with even turning your hands over and applying some pressure along the back of your hands. So getting a little gentle rocking motion. This can be a great stretch if you don't have the most ergonomic desk space during your work from home situation. Welcome to the club. All right, take a moment, sit yourself up, just shake those wrists out, maybe open and close your hands a couple of times, really get that blood flowing. We're gonna come back into tabletop. I'm gonna turn
towards the camera, just in case you need to watch what's happening, because next up we're going to come into gate latch pose. So keep your left knee down on the floor. Make sure there's some space to your side. You're going to extend your right leg out towards the side. As you bring your right toe down, make an effort to release your right heel in line behind your toe. So the edge of your foot is doing the best that you can with the body that you have today to be in line with the top or side of your mat or the rug or the wall in your room. You're just working to have your foot be parallel with your left leg, basically, as opposed to at a 45-degree angle. The more that you really press the outer edge of your foot into the floor, the pinky toe side, the bigger stretch that you're going to feel on your inner thigh. Really press into those hands palms. Make sure you're not wearing your shoulders as earrings. Pull your belly in. Find some support of your abdominal core and start to walk your hands back towards your knee. We're going to inhale, lift ourselves up. Bring those arms up overhead. Use your right hand to grab hold of your left thumb, and exhale, relax your shoulders away from your ears. Press into that left knee and even push your hips forward gently, and see how that brings the stretch towards the outside of your right leg, the outside of the glute and thigh. Inhale up towards the ceiling and exhale over to the right side. Try not to turn your chest down towards the floor. So the best that you can, keep those shoulders stacked as you begin to reach over towards the right, shoulders still drawn away from your ears. Use your next inhale to lift yourself back up to center. We're going to separate our hands and exhale, bring your left hand fingertips down to the floor. Once again, press through the outer edge of that right foot as you stretch your right hand up towards the ceiling. And exhale your right hand fingertips down in line with the left. Gently walk them back towards the front of the mat. So we find ourselves back in the beginning of gate latch pose. We're going to inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling behind us and exhale, cross it over. Oops, pardon me, chair. Cross it over the left side of our body. So just work to plant the ball of the foot. Maybe you can even get your pinkies down on the floor and then check back in with your upper body. So really pressing hands, palms into the floor, nice straight arms. We're going to turn and twist. Look towards your right heel over the left side of your body. Maybe you even bring that left lower rib a little closer towards your hip to come deeper into your stretch. We'll take 2 more breaths right here. On your next exhale, turn your head back towards the front. Inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling and exhale your right leg back into tabletop with the left. Give yourself a couple cat-cows right here. Great work. We're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. Oh, good. Plenty of room this time. So a couple more cat-cows, couple more shimmy shakes. And then bring yourself back into tabletop, hands, palms underneath of your chest, hips on top of your knees. Keep your right leg planted this time, pull your belly in, and go ahead, extend your left leg out towards the side. Bring that big toe down and take your time to bring your heel down in line behind your toe so that your left foot is parallel with that right shin on the floor. Use your exhale to press those pinky toes into the mat. I'll move a little this way so hopefully you can see my foot. Beautiful. Great. We'll take a couple breaths right here. Think about even stretching your hips a little towards the back of the room. So we're still somewhere between where your hips would be for puppy pose, or maybe stretching a little bit further back to create more of a stretch, a little like child's pose. Let's walk those hands in, and once again, we'll inhale ourselves back up, still pressing the outer edge of the left foot into the floor. This time, your left hand grabs hold of the right. Use your exhale to relax your shoulders from your ears. Squeeze that left glute, push your hips forward. Inhale up from the waist, stretch to the ceiling, and exhale over to the left side. Once again, do your best to really keep that right shoulder open, stacked on top of the left. So you're looking at the wall in front of you instead of the floor below you. Press into that outer edge of your foot once more. Use your breath. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, separate your hands. Careful with the space you have. Bring your right hand down towards the floor. Reach up through your left hand fingertips. Not even going to make you work on balance this early in the morning. Just pressing that edge of the right foot into the floor. Use your exhale to bring your left hand down next to your right and gently walk yourself back towards tabletop. Great. Inhale to lift that left leg up towards the ceiling and exhale to cross it over your right. Take your time and once again look over your opposite shoulder so maybe you can see your foot, maybe you can't see your foot, maybe you can see your hip, maybe you can barely see past your shoulder. That's okay. You're just creating the twist that feels right for your body today. I want you to relax into it as much as possible. Still keep a little engagement of that belly, so draw your lower belly in. Take 2 more breaths. Get ready to use that next exhale to bring your head back to center. Use your inhale to lift that left leg up and exhale, come on back into tabletop. Great, we got just a little more to go. Take a moment, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling, and find yourself in down dog. We won't stay here very long, but I want to give you the opportunity to find that stretch in the shoulders, to find a stretch in your calves. So take as generous of a bend in your knees as you need to bring your belly towards your thighs and to bring your ears closer towards your biceps. From here, you can pedal your heels, maybe one at a time. Maybe you like to bring both of them forward. I really like to shift the weight a little to just practice a little from that hover and plank, just going in the direction that plank would be. Maybe a little bit more bear, really bending those knees. Find what feels good for you. You can twist those hips. We'll take a couple more breaths here, and then we're just going to walk our feet forward to our hands. Are you ready to find some movement? Let's go for it. Walk those feet forward. Take your time. As we get to the top of the mat, we're just going to hang out here in a forward fold. So bring the weight towards your heels. Bring another bend to your knees, as much of a bend to your knees as you need to, so that your belly is actually touching on your thighs. There's no room for lighter air between your belly and thighs. And I know for some of us, it's a little bit easier. But I really just want you to avoid locking your legs out and hovering and putting in extra rounding in your lower back. So by bending your knees, you create this amazing little table. You can even allow your shoulders to open a little bit here. We'll take 2 more breaths in that delightful forward fold. And then slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, roll yourself up. Stack your shoulders on top of your hips. Let's inhale, arms all the way up overhead. Stretch out to the side as you reach your arms up. Bring your hands, palms together, and exhale, bring them down to heart center. Take a moment right here in your stillness. If your eyes are open, find one spot to focus your eyes. What's happening with your shoulders? Did they creep up towards your ears as a beautiful accessory for the day? I know my shoulders love to be earrings, but I do my best to really roll them down my back to find that lift of my chest. Coming back to the breath, really grounding equally through all 4 corners of your feet in the floor. Now's a beautiful time to set an intention for your day today. If you think that sounds weird, don't worry about it. Maybe your intention is just to be as relaxed as possible, to go with the flow. Maybe you know someone who just needs a little bit of love and energy, and you want to send some energy out there into the universe. Maybe right now you're feeling the energy someone else is sending to you.
Ground your feet to the floor, pull your belly in once more. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold or swan dive slowly down towards the floor. Inhale, let's come into a half lift. So find a nice flat back, shoulders pulled away from your ears, eyes down towards the floor, and exhale back down to your forward fold. Let's step our right leg back. As you step it back, we're going to bring that knee down towards the floor. You can untuck your toes. You can lift yourself up. As we come into a hip opener, you might need to wiggle that left foot forward a little bit as you shift your weight forward. If you're not feeling any sort of an opening of your hips, feel free to bring those fingers down towards the floor, but see if you can still find some length in your spine as opposed to just rounding all the way down. From here, we're going to turn it into a hamstring stretch. So start to press into your front heel as you maybe walk your fingers back or just shift your hips back. This depth of the stretch is up to you. If you need to stay really nice and lifted for this one, you're welcome to. The more that you hover towards your leg, the more you're going to feel the stretch along the back of your hamstring. You can get your calf involved a little more as well by flexing the toes of your right foot back towards your face. Take one more big inhale, and on your exhale, bring that foot back down to the floor. Shift the weight forward once more. Bring your hands down to the mat. If they had not been there, find that length through your spine. Tuck your right toes under. Lift yourself up and inhale your left hand up towards the ceiling for a nice little twist. Exhale that left hand back down towards the floor. On your inhales, press into your left heel. Step your feet together. Exhale down to your forward fold. Inhale, let's come all the way back up. Bring your arms up overhead, palms together, and exhale. Hands come down to heart center. Take a moment right here. Come back to your breath. Come back to your intention, your focus. Let's go ahead, get the other side. Inhale, arms up overhead. Pull your belly in, protect your back as you exhale and forward fold. Inhale into a nice half lift, flat back. Find that length through your neck. Exhale down to your forward fold. Plant your hands or your fingertips on the floor and step your left leg back. Great. Release that left knee down towards the mat. Untuck your toes. You can keep your hands down on the floor and find a little bit of length, or you can lift yourself up. Might need to wiggle your right toes forward as you shift your hips forward. Keep yourself squared with the front of your mat right here. You're not feeling any sort of an opening in your hip or a stretch in that back quad at all. Bring your fingertips down towards the floor. See if you can just shift a little bit more forward. We'll take 2 more breaths right here. And then use that exhale to press through your front heel and shift your hips towards the back of the mat. Your choice, once again, how deep you come into this hamstring stretch and how much you flex your toes back towards your face to get your calf involved. Maybe even rounding your nose down towards your knee. Take 2 more breaths right here. Get ready to move on your next exhale. And then we'll shift the weight forward once more. As you come back into your big hip opener, tuck your back toes under, lift that knee up off of the floor, plant your left hand down and inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. Can you shift your hips forward again? Did they raise up a little bit? Can you just, in control, drop down and bring that hip opening stretch back into your left leg? Awesome. Use your exhale to bring your right hand to the floor. Use your inhale to step your feet together. Exhale back down to your forward fold. One more time. Slowly, gently roll yourself up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to swan dive back down to the floor. Go ahead, step your legs back. We're going to come right down onto our knees. Come back into tabletop. Bring your toes together nice and wide. Separate your knees. Send your hips back towards your heels and come on into child's pose. Allow your head to come down below heart's level. You can stretch your fingertips as far forward as feels good for you today. Maybe even giving yourself some spider hands, pressing up to tent on your fingertips to get more of a stretch down through your back. However, if your shoulders are feeling really tired or sore and that doesn't feel good for you, take as generous of a bend as you need to. And if that's still too much on your shoulders, reach your hands all the way back towards your heels, and you can allow those shoulders to separate. While we're here in this child's pose, work to bring some breath towards the back side of your body. So really notice if you're feeling the expansion of the rib cage on your inhale and its contraction on your exhale. And work to feel that on the back side of your body. Maybe even using that exhale to press your glutes a little closer towards your heels. Great. Gently walk those hands in. Let's press ourselves up and shift our hips to come to a seated position. Coming into the seated position of your choice. I'm hanging out here in Sukhasana, but perhaps you decided to keep your legs open nice and wide and go for a little bit more of a dragonfly. We'll just hang out here, come back to our breath. If you find that your knees are coming all the way up towards your chest and your hips are really tight, think about using a prop that you can sit yourself up on. Maybe you happen to have a pillow nearby that you can lift your hips up on. And same thing if you have your legs extended in front of you and you feel so much pressure and stretching on the back of the legs, taking a nice little lift of your hips can help to decrease that pressure. So wherever you found yourself, we're going to hang out in stillness for 1 minute before we close our class together. Option to have your palms facing up towards the ceiling to continue to receive all of the great energy that's out there, or maybe you want to place your hands down on your knees to help you find that lift of your chest without extra rounding or arching of your back. And also just for a little bit more grounding. Return to your beautiful slow breath, just like we started class. Check in with yourself and scan your body from head to toe and just notice if you feel any different than when class started today. Bring your hands palms together at the center of your chest with your thumbs touching on your sternum in Namaskar. Take a moment to bring your chin to your chest and honor yourself with this little mini bow. Thank yourself for taking this time in your morning to start your day in such a beautiful way. Remember that anytime you feel like you need a little you time, you can always close your eyes and just come back to your breath. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that we did today, I do encourage you to reach out. Till we practice together again, I encourage you to think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, and do good deeds to continue to nourish yourself from the inside out. Whatever time you
catch up with this class, with your practice and your breath. I hope you continue to have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming and joining me to share in my energy so you can continue to spill yours out to others. Namaste.